Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vickers. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah. I don't like niggas, what's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight, nigga.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Missouri, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog app. Use code MASECAM or STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits with your first deposit and a free pick. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your host Mase, and today we are joined with our analyst Trysta.
Woo! Look at my light-skinned sister.
I'll take it. Take it. Technically, I'm like red bone because I have so much blush. As soon as I get embarrassed, the red comes right out.
Yeah, I was telling Stat, she's trying to act like I don't know what I'm talking about. I told Stat, I said, you know what? I know you like white guys. There's nothing wrong with it. She was telling me, we was talking about the Jay-Z album we was listening before, and she was like, oh, that's a banger with Justin Timberlake. And I said, yeah, you like white guys with soul.
Okay, so name another.
Robert Thicke.
Okay, but like, who does it? Like Robert Thicke's music.
Pause. That was crazy.
I feel like we know that though. Like Robert Thicke can sing, so can JT. That's not crazy though.
Yo, who else? Pause. You say one, Trysta. What's a white boy with soul that's that like? I told her she like white boys with soul.
What about John B?
We like John B.
There you go.
Okay, but this is like specific, like they just can sing. Like I don't know what you want me to add to that. Sorry, Mase. Sorry, Trysta. I don't know what to tell y'all. They can sing, and that's that.
Okay.
That's it.
That's that. They can sing.
And they got soul, and they can get it. Basically.
I didn't even say that. I just said they can sing.
Yeah, Trysta's throwing it. They can get it in there. You see there?
See
what we go through?
I know. I'm messy. I know I'm messy.
You messy. Yeah, you messy.
So over the weekend, the Lakers lost to the Bulls, even with LeBron James' return. And a couple players did return from injury, but the Lakers are currently the 4th seed. How do you feel about them right now, Trysta?
I mean, first up, you can't allow Kobe White and Josh Giddey to put you on the hibachi. Josh Giddey got damn near a quadruple double. He had 8 steals. He had 17 assists. That is embarrassing. And the Lakers had pretty much everybody back on the floor, and they got blown out by a bajillion. I think it was 40. It was at some point it was 40. And the Lakers, to me, have real issues. They have issues guarding these small, quick twitch guards like Kobe White, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like Fred VanVleet. And they're going to see a lot of those players on their road to the playoffs, in their road to the playoffs. They have 12 games left. They're 2 games behind Houston, but they're only 3 games out of the play-in. So you look at their schedule, they're on the road for 8 of their last 12 games. They play OKC twice. They play Houston twice. They play Indiana. They play Golden State. 7 of their last 12 games are against playoff caliber teams. So to me, that's a real concern when you're talking about how much it's so tight between 3 and the play-in. So boy, oh boy, there's a lot of young twitchy guards that they're going to have to see, not just down the stretch in these last 12 games, but in the playoffs themselves. I'm concerned. I'm very concerned.
Yeah, Kobe White just went crazy on him. I forgot that Kobe White was on the Bulls. You know, I mean, when he first came out of college, I thought he was going to be sensational, pause. But then as time went on, it seemed like they kept trying different lineups. And then with Lonzo Ball getting there, it seemed like they wasn't sure who they were gonna play. That whole scenario there, but he was just looking like he could do whatever he want. I mean, but I don't expect the Lakers to have good perimeter defense. If it's not LeBron getting mad at a guard and him particularly guarding the guard himself, the Lakers are definitely going to struggle on defense. We already know Luka is not a defensive player. He's offense only. You know, I'm going to go ahead and just say Luka is a bucket only. He don't expect him to guard nobody. I think that's unrealistic. If JJ Redick is able to get Luka to play defense, that will be a miracle, you know, and they will be a phenomenal team because of it. But you can't win when you're letting guards get 36 and somebody else get 31. You're just not gonna win. And when you talk about getting ready for the playoffs, like you said, they're gonna be running into these kind of guards, especially on the West Coast. You got Murray. You got another, what you call it, a quick twitch guard. Pause. That sounds crazy, but you got Murray. You got who else? And that's like that on the West. You
got John Morant. You got
Shea.
Steph.
Everybody on the West got a guard like that. So if you got problems with that, what are you going to do against Houston? What are you going to do? You could pick any team on the West, and they will not be able to keep up with that team if that's their problem. And with LeBron coming back, you would think that they will play a little bit better, but this is unacceptable.
So a question for both of you guys, because I know this is what, somebody's going to say on the opposite end.
Mm-hmm.
This was LeBron's return game. Luka at first was questionable, and so was Austin Reeves. Are these injuries not valid, or it's just like, nope, it's the Bulls? Point blank period, the Lakers should have won this game. Trysta, how do you feel about that?
Oh, you got to pack them up. They've got nothing to play for. The Bulls are dead in the water. They want their own draft pick so that they can get a top 10 pick. They're really thinking about the lottery. They might squeeze into the play-in, but that's not because they're any good. It's because the East is very weak, especially towards the bottom. You can't allow LeBron James to play 31 minutes, Luka play full minutes, Austin Reeves play full minutes, Dalton Knecht play full minutes, and get just straight put on your back and allowing somebody to step on you over and over and over again. I think that's a pause. I don't know, but it feels like a pause. And to me, it's just unacceptable, considering it wasn't even competitive whatsoever.
Yeah, and I want to start paying more attention to the plus and minuses. If you look at LeBron in this game, they got LeBron down when it comes to that as minus 27. When you look at Austin Reeves, he's minus 21. So this is not good. This is not good. Even though it's for one game, you just don't want to get into bad habits. Now, one game is not, I'm not going to get carried away about it. But when you're a team trying to rebuild, every game counts, especially if you plan on going into playoffs and having some kind of supernatural run. These are the games that lead up to that. So you don't want to start getting into bad habits. And you got to, every game, again, counts because it's new chemistry, it's new players, and as well as you could brush it off, this may well be the issue that show up later.
Points. Okay, so now we got to talk about Bronny James. So he had a career-high game, 17 points, 7 and 10 from the field, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, and he played for 30 minutes in the Lakers' 118-89 loss to the Bucks. So one person in particular who had something to say was Stephen A. So he came back with a different point of view, saying, this is the big picture here that I want to bring up. I might have been wrong. And then he was kind of like, are you listening, LeBron? Are you listening, James family? Are you listening, Rich Paul? So he made sure that they heard what he was saying about Bronny James. So Trysta, what did you think of Stephen A's response? And then how did you feel about Bronny James' gameplay versus the Bucks?
Stephen A is one of those guys who, even when he says when he's wrong, he still tries to circle the block and spin it back around on why he always felt and believed in Bronny. He also said, okay, I was maybe wrong, but I also always believed in Bronny as an NBA talent. So did you believe or did you not believe? Do you think that he should be playing in NBA games? Do you think it's disrespectful? Do you think LeBron as a dad is like being shameless in his nepotism, or do you not? So I thought that was very like talking out of two sides of your mouth kind of a thing, which is like not unlike Stephen A. He's an entertainer. Like he doesn't want facts to get in the way of a good time. So to me, that was like just Stephen A. doing more Stephen A. stuff. In terms of Bronny, I think the context of Bronny is maybe not considered as much when we're looking at what he should be doing and what he's capable of doing and like what we should expect from him. Like you're talking about a kid who almost died not that long ago, played for one of the worst, most mediocre college coaches in all of the NCAA, this guy, Andy Enfield, which like all of the NCAA experts fry him, put him on the hibachi as being just like one of the most terrible coaches that a kid like that could play for. So he had to run with the USC system. And I don't even know why he went to USC. I kind of think it was because he wanted to stay at the big mansion Casa de Lebron and like stay close to home. Because he could have gone anywhere. He could have gone to Ohio State. Could have gone to Oregon. Those were the teams that he was looking at down the stretch. So he's like on death's door, has a heart issue, ends up finally playing, doesn't average much in college, but that was like pretty much to be expected. You didn't get all the preseason time with your team. You weren't building that chemistry that you were talking about, Mase, with the squad, and they weren't any good anyway. So, okay, so I'm not expecting much from LeBron James Jr. in his rookie year. The fact that he's playing in NBA games and getting 30 minutes, even though he was playing with, the Long Beach Stars or whoever basically the G League team that he was playing with, because no one else played, right? It was like Dorian Finney-Smith was out, Luka was out, LeBron was out, Rui was out, Jared Vanderbilt was out, Dorian Finney-Smith out. So like him and the South Bay Lakers, we're going to get clapped by the Milwaukee Bucks no matter what. So for him to be able to show, okay, I can get my own shot, I can shoot the three well. I think he shot 50%, 2 for 4, and still be able to like hold his own. Everybody was getting smacked on that team. It didn't really matter. He was playing with, a Shake Milton, who's Shake Milton. So I think it was good, but at the end of the day, I still don't think he's like NBA material right this second.
So you weren't impressed then? You weren't impressed?
I was impressed by the performance, considering that the expectations on an NBA floor were low. He didn't shake the shit out of Giannis. He did. He shook him. He has the ability to get his own shot and score. He's not the best defender. It wasn't like he was on the floor and, like you say, plus minus. They lost by 29 and Bronny was a negative 36. Now, he was on the floor with other players who aren't any good either. So you can't really blame it all on him. It was great to see him achieve, but they did get the shit kicked out of them when they played the Bucks. So I'm not like, you kind of have to add that to the context of his performance.
Wow. What do you have to say, Stat? I'm done talking about Bronny.
You definitely did say that.
I told you that. I said, if I don't have anything good to say, I'm going to do what my mother told me. If you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. And I'm not going to join the bashing train. When I have something good to say, I'm going to say it.
Okay, so you don't have
What would
anything
you
good
like
to
to
say.
say?
Like, that's confirmed. Got it. You said a lot without saying anything.
No, but
fair.
I'm definitely not talking about that anymore. If it comes up, it's like the Cowboys to me, because I think when you begin to speak of any person consistently negative and there's nothing that they did warranted towards you, that is hating, and I'm never gonna be deemed as a hater.
Yeah. I understand that point of view, but I also think the other end is like when somebody also does well, when that's not their expectations, it's okay to recognize that. So also given Trista's point of view, it's like, this was not, a high caliber game, but I think it's the fact that I'm not gonna say nobody, that's a strong term. A lot of people didn't think Bronny had it in him. I think
to do what exactly?
To perform well. I don't think a lot of people had it in him to do well in an NBA game like that. So I think seeing it is like, okay, He has something in him. This is something that we can work with, and he has that potential that a lot of people feel like he didn't even have at all.
No, I've been said that Bronny could be very successful, and that's this. I will say this because it's good. That he could be really successful on that team if he's put in the right position. Pause. Like any player that has talent, it's not just your talent; it's who you play with and your role on the team. Like you could be a great player and the coach have you in a messed up position, and you're still going to look bad even though you're actually good. A lot of players that play with LeBron end up not playing as good because they have to play second, which is understandable. He's going to have the ball. And just think most times if somebody got the ball and you're 5'11" or you're 6 feet, let's say you're 6'2", and the guy bringing up the ball is 7 feet or he's 6'10", then now you become an off guard even though you're a point guard. So now all of your strengths, a lot of your strengths are immediately taken away when they start playing big ball. And people don't really look at that when they see LeBron or they see Joker. So we're not just harping on LeBron.
Yeah.
Anytime a big person start bringing up the ball, it alleviates the smaller guard.
Yeah.
So that's something that makes Bronny not look as good as well because he's not the person with the ball. So now if I got the ball as LeBron or Jokic and I hold the ball to 20 seconds and then I throw it to you on the last 2 seconds, you got to force up a shot, which makes you look horrible.
Right.
Because you're not really just a catch and shoot shooter. The only person that can really play in that mode is a Cal Korver or who was it, J.R. Smith, or the people that was playing that role, Ray Allen. If you're not one of those people who are lights out shooter, you begin to look bad because of the style of play that he plays.
Yeah. No, I totally understand where you're coming from, but I also think it also comes to when the moment is there, you seize the opportunity. Because even down to like the Spurs, Mamu had a historic night, but that probably wouldn't have happened if Wemby or something like that was playing in the game. So it's like,
exactly.
To Bronny's point, this was a great game. We still want to see more.
Good. 17 is good.
But it's okay to want to see more. That's fine. And to Trysta's point, like, yes, it's situational, but it's like I think we all want the best for Bronny.
Yeah. I'm just not going to harp on it because it makes titles. Like I see when people do stuff like that, I don't like that. I don't like when you just pick somebody's name out and you run with it because it's the person to bash today,
Yeah. I get what you're saying, for sure. But shout out to Bronny James. Hopefully we'll continue to see more of him because, like I said, we're trying to see some more. And like you were saying before, you were like, maybe he needs more minutes. Well, he got more minutes in this game. So you just you never know, y'all.
And I'm more so talking about it's not the minutes, it's put in the right position to succeed. When you succeed in life, especially if you're a part of any organization, it's because the orchestrator or the person at the helm of what's going on has designed a plan that works well for you. That's where people succeed. I didn't succeed because I just had talent. I succeeded because there was a system that I could thrive in, just like you. You're here. It doesn't matter if we gave you the opportunity if we don't put you in a position that'll cause you to do well. Talent alone is not enough. There's a book out there like that. I think it's John Maxwell on one of them leadership books. It's called Talent Is Not Enough. It's one of my favorite books.
To go check it out. Real inspirational, y'all. Okay, so tonight the Lakers will play the Magic. Underdog has Luka at 28.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Higher.
Okay, LeBron James is at 22.5 points.
Who they playing again?
The Magic. That's your other team, so I thought.
No, it's not my other team, Stat. We're going to get to Florida later. I wish Maurice could be here because we have to get to Florida. I hope you're not trying to take Florida off of the schedule.
We're not. Why would I do that? Why would I, of all people, do that?
I'm just making sure because it's not a Miami thing. So we're talking about Orlando. It's Florida, but it ain't my type of Florida. But, it's the same color blue.
Okay.
What you saying is LeBron gonna have how much?
22.5 points, higher or lower?
I'm going higher.
Okay, and then Paolo Banchero's at 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Do you have him higher or lower?
I'm gonna let Trysta answer this. Trysta, you answer that.
So Paolo versus the Lakers, you think he'll have higher or lower than 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined?
I'm going to go higher, 39.5. Paolo Banchero, he operates on the perimeter. Similarly, we were talking about the defense with the Lakers struggling there. Paolo Banchero kind of operates like a point forward, especially now that Jalen Suggs is injured. I'm going to go higher.
Wait, Trish, where are you at right now? What is this saying in the background?
This is my hometown. This is Portland, Oregon. It's the little sign. Yeah, it's the little sign that's on the river. Well, this isn't the sign. This is just a wall. But when you go into Portland and you're looking at the river, there's a sign that has like a little deer and the Oregon State and a little cursive for us.
Nice. Shout out Oregon.
Yeah. Does it rain out there all day like I thought?
So much. It's rained today and yesterday were the first day that it hasn't rained in like 10 consecutive days.
Oh, okay.
So,
You're not a Portland fan, are you?
no, I am. I mean, like the city is fine. I'm a Portland Trailblazer fan. I'm an Oregon Ducks fan. We lost last night to
Y'all
Arizona.
have something in common because you're a duck buck, so I thought. I always ask these questions for verification because I'm trying to follow something.
I'm an Oregon Duck fan, but not a Trailblazer fan. You got to really be Portland out to be a Trailblazer fan. The last good team I think I liked from Portland was who was that? Clyde Drexler and Terry, what was his last name?
Porter.
Terry Porter.
No, this is exactly what happens, Mase. Is like I become a fan at a specific period of time in my life where that team is at its all-time peak, and then it never returns back to that level again. The Cowboys when I was 10, Troy Aikman, you had Emmitt Smith, you had Dion. I mean, the list goes on and on. Now they're never good again. Portland Trailblazers, I was 5, and it was Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, et cetera, and we've never been that good. Well, I guess in 2002, we were up 15 on the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. We probably would have won the title that year. We were awesome. But yeah, it hasn't been nearly as good as that team. That team was star-studded. That's the reason we didn't take Jordan, is because they believed in Clyde more than they believed in this little freshman rookie.
No, they believed in Sam Bowie.
Well, the reason that they didn't take Jordan in general was they were like, we don't want to cause friction between Clyde Drexler and another guard. So they believe more in Clyde than the potential of Jordan, which was a mistake. Anytime we take a center, it's a mistake.
Yep, you're right. Came back with Greg Oden. And shout out to Greg Oden. He just had some unfortunate health issues. I want to make sure I'm not kicking anyone.
No, all good. Okay. And then make sure you guys download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. But Mase, we have some news.
What?
This beautiful limited edition, one of a kind, it is what it is, Underdog helmet has a winner.
What's the winner name again?
You know it. Are you phoning a friend? Are you phoning a friend?
Say the name again.
Yeah, it's Black Mamba Poo.
Oh my goodness. That's what you was talking about when you said Black Mamba Poo, come get this helmet? That was wild, Stat.
They gotta come get it.
Oh my goodness.
They gotta come get it.
Where do you think Black Mamba? Shout out to Black Mamba Poo. You are our official winner for today of the pink Underdog helmet. Let me ask you something. Where do you think Black Mamba Poo is from? With the name, where does it sound like he's from?
Chicago. That's what I'm kidding. What do you think?
Trish, where would you say Black Mamba Poo is from?
Probably LA, right? He's a big Kobe fan. He's got that Mamba mentality. It's like South Central LA is where I feel like Black Mamba Pooh is from. I knew a bunch of Poohs growing up, and a lot of them came from LA up to Portland.
Yeah, Pooh sound like a New York name, but Black Mamba Pooh, I don't know.
We call my grandma Pooh. That's a South thing, I thought.
Oh my goodness. I know a guy named Pooh, but it ain't Black Mamba Pooh. That's why I was trying to figure out whose helmet it is. Where's he from, Nick? Oh my goodness. Well, shout out to Black Mamba Pooh. This Paul's helmet is yours.
Why is that a pause? Why is that a pause?
Sounds crazy. It sounded crazy when you said Black Mamba Pooh, come get this helmet. That might be all.
That's what it is.
That
And rightfully
crazy.
so. He won. So shout out to Black Mamba Pooh. You got the helmet, and we will be reaching out to you with details on how you will get it. Okay. Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
He had a post-game interview Saturday on his Heat tenure, and he said, "We were all right. We didn't win nothing like we were supposed to, so I don't know. We made some cool runs. We had some fun. I think that's all we did." Trysta, are you surprised by Jimmy's comments? And then how do you think he's feeling being on the Warriors, even though he's talked about it a couple of times? And then how did you view his tenure with the Heat?
Yeah, I mean, he hates that organization. That's very clear.
Point blank.
Point blank, he hates them. The way it went down caused him to have such a bitter taste in his mouth that 3 Eastern Conference finals and 2 finals appearances in 5 years is really just like, oh, we had some fun and we made some cool runs. But ultimately the space in between what he's saying, right? Like the unsaid part is like, they did not support me. They did not bring anybody of any caliber around me, even though I asked them to. Like the year they went to the finals in the bubble, they had like a broken down Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo in his second year, and Tyler Hero in his rookie year. And it was like, okay, we can build on that. And they never did. The 2023 finals, they had the ghost of Victor Oladipo, I think on a veteran minimum contract. They had Gabe Vincent. They just get a bunch of these undrafted dudes and they build them up and they become serviceable players, but they're not stars. And Jimmy Butler did enough, I think, to warrant them making some big swings to get him a star. If the Lakers can go get Luka just with one phone call, you had years to do that. And it got so bitter at the end where they didn't want to pay him. Remember last offseason too, Pat Riley was like, oh yeah, I don't want to pay. First and foremost, he was like, if Jimmy Butler's not playing, because then he was injured last playoffs, if he's not playing, he needs to shut the fuck up, basically. I don't know if he said the F-bomb, but like he told him he needs to sit down and be quiet. That was strike one. Then after the season, he goes on record as basically like, I'm not going to pay him. And also Tyler Hero's better than him. I like Tyler Hero because he's more available than Jimmy Butler. He only plays 50 games a year. But ultimately, the Heat have done nothing to support him. They've done nothing, period, since the Heatles era. And I don't know why you'd really want to play for them other than the fact that it's Miami and there's tons of baddies and the weather's amazing and there's no state tax. You had Shaquille O'Neal putting body oil, baby oil, all over his body so he could essentially skirt the body fat test because you have to be 4.5% body fat in order to play for this organization. They are insane. And I think he looks back at his time like, I probably should have never come here. And I probably should have gotten the hell out a lot earlier.
That was an amazing take. But I was thinking about before Jimmy Butler came to Miami Heat, wasn't he at Philadelphia? That wasn't a great time as well.
He's never had a good situation. That's why I think he's in love with the Warriors, is because it's the first functional franchise he's ever been with a true co-star. He was in Chicago, and Derrick Rose was sort of on his last leg. He had Joakim Noah and Tom Thibodeau running him into the ground. Then he goes to Minnesota, with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins and those guys, they were pretty soft at that point in their career, pause. And that's why he got out of there. Goes to Philly with Brett Brown, Joel Embiid. They choose Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris over him, the iconic line. And then Miami. So he's loving life right now, to feel supported, to have an offense that functions. And I think he really dodged a bullet by not going to Phoenix and going to a situation where he's probably going to ride out into the sunset and maybe go further than he ever has before by the time he's all said and done.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Jimmy Butler, the reason why he's enjoying it because he's not the first option. Everywhere else that he's been almost the first option. That's why he was able to take only play 50 games and things of that nature. But on a team like Golden State, they're requiring more of him, but it's also more from a second position, second option. You're not the first option. So that gives you a little bit of rest. All the weight, pause, is not on your shoulders because you're playing with the great Stephen Curry. And now, even if you're a slasher like Jimmy Butler, that's your dream that when you're going to the basket, somebody cannot double team you because they can't afford for the ball to get swung out to Stephen Curry. That's a nightmare. So them two together is actually perfect. I think them two together is actually better than Klay Thompson and Steph, because now you got two people that can get a basket. Not that Klay couldn't, but Jimmy Butler is way more aggressive when it comes to attacking the rim.
That's low-key a hot take. Trysta, I'm just curious on what you think. Do you think that Jimmy Butler is a better pairing than Klay Thompson? And then when you say that, are you talking about in the past year or years as a whole? You just got to be clear.
I'm talking about if I'm in a game and I got Klay Thompson and Steph, or I could have Jimmy Butler and Steph. Pause. I would go with Jimmy Butler and Steph because it give you more dynamics. With Klay and Steph, you just got shooters on the floor. When Jimmy Butler comes out there, he can get a basket. If the shot is not falling, he can go get a basket. And sometime whenever they lost, that was the reason. You needed somebody else that could get a basket, like a guaranteed bucket.
Okay. Trysta, what do you think?
Yeah, I love that take. I mean, you talk about what Jimmy Butler is. He's a creator, right? He can get his own shot. And Klay really could not get his own shot, especially after the ACL tear. He just had such limited mobility. Even his defense started to go down. So you talk about what Jimmy Butler does well. Like you said, Mase, he's a slasher. He can go get you a bucket, and he ends up elevating to the moments that he plays in. The bigger the spotlight, the bigger his performances are. And then Steph and Klay didn't occupy the same space, but you could blitz Steph, and you didn't really know unless Klay was hot, especially after his peak level, right? After that injury, he kind of had these highs and lows in terms of his shooting. You're right. Like when they fell, it was because they couldn't get a bucket down the stretch because teams were double teaming Steph and they weren't getting the ball out to Klay. They were getting the ball out to somebody else.
Yeah, so you needed somebody that could say, you know what? For the next 15 points, it's going to be me.
Okay.
And you know, Klay would have that pump fake, step over and shoot, but he couldn't just get crazy and get to the basket, get whatever kind of basket he want. And that's where Jimmy Butler becomes a real problem, especially on this Golden State team, because you got shooters all around you. You even got Buddy Hield that'll come off the bench and probably hit 2 threes. And in the playoffs, that matters.
Yeah, it does. And to your point, Mace, really fast before we switch gears, I think that the analogy that you can make is like Jimmy Butler in Miami and everywhere else that he was an everyday car. Like when you have a car and you're using it for every stop, your day to day, and that's the only car you have. Now Jimmy Butler's like the second or third car, and you're primarily driving the Steph Curry car. There's not nearly as much miles on it. Even though he's in the game, he's not required to do nearly as much. The mileage on his body, the hits to his body, not nearly as much either. It's a great fit for him. I'm super happy for him.
Yeah, it's actually like playing on an all-star team when them two are playing together. because I could get a bucket. We know he can get a bucket. And you ever see how all-stars play together? It's like with a respect, but the game is that much easier because you're playing with that level of talent.
Okay. And then just last follow question. So you don't feel like right now Klay Thompson has that in him? Pause.
I think he has the ability, but I mean, it's just common sense that Jimmy Butler is a way more rugged player than him. His styles. That's a better style to have.
He was never that guy that had a tremendously deep bag. That's just not what Klay did. Right? Like he would drive straight line to the basket, dunk, lay, pause. But he was never like giving you, hezzy, cross, tween, behind the back like Jimmy can do. Jimmy is like the mid-range master. He can create space. He can get his own shot. He can, draw contact. He's going to the free throw line more than any Warrior has pretty much in the history of Steph's career. And that's what you need, is getting guys into foul trouble as well, which sort of changes the landscape of that game plan also. So no, Klay was never doing that. He was primarily like a great two-way 3-point, 3-and-D, the elite 3-and-D player.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of straight line drives to his game.
And for the history of the NBA, the people that had crazy mid-range games are the people who dominated, whether it was Jordan, whether it was Kobe, whether even when you got Ray Allen shooting from deep, he also had the mid-range. Everybody that had that mid-range game at the two were like a nightmare. D Wade, even if you talk about the three, Carmelo Anthony, anybody, Kevin Durant, anybody that mastered the mid-range game. For the kids that are watching, that's something to pay attention to. You're just shooting threes, that's cool, but if you got a mid-range game, you become extremely harder to stop.
Okay, underrated NBA teams, who are they? We'll discuss after the break.
One eye, one heart, one love.
Excuse me? After last night's performance, we're gonna do this again? Not tonight. I don't think so. And make sure you close the door behind you.
When I take the pussy up, man. When I take the pussy up, man. When I take the pussy up, man. When I take the pussy up, man.
I'm Rico fucking strong.
Took that horsepower and told the girl to giddy up.
Baby!
Fast money, Manny, fresh shit, cash money, Moscow mule.
I'm back.
Looking back at her, I'm a crash.
Hell no. Muchacho, levántate. Toma eso, bébetelo.
Right now?
Well, cuña.
Okay.
Well,
Now, right now. Right now.
yeah.
Girl, let me see you walk it off. Oh, let me see you walk it off. Yeah, let me see you walk it off. Go, girl, let me see you walk it off.
Welcome back. So just in general, we've seen specifically a lot of the teams in the West are separated just by like a game or two. So after we've been watching these games, seeing these teams, Trysta, which teams right now do you feel like are very underrated that need to be spoken about more?
Yeah, I think number one, the team that I don't think they're a true contender in the sense that I think there's only a few real contenders, and I don't think any of them are really underrated. But a team that really nobody is talking about at all is a team that was just in the Eastern Conference Finals last year in Indiana. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Tyrese Halliburton, I think, was probably still injured to a degree in the beginning of the year, and he was cheeks. And so everybody kind of forgot about them. But they're a very deep team, and they have so many different players that can come at you on any given night, right? Is that a pause?
No, you just sound hilarious because you got a mainstream voice with urban content.
Fair enough. I think that's the draw. So they were. I mean, essentially that was them throughout until the All-Star break, right? And now you look at what's going on. Tyrese Halliburton starting to play much better. They're 9-6 in their last 15 games. They've got a top 10 defensive rating right now, which is not really what they're known for. Like I said, Tyrese Halliburton 21-11-2 in his last 15 games, and they have the third highest assist rate in the league. So they move the ball well, but it's really, you never know who's going to come at you. It could be Ben Mathurin. It could be Obi Toppin one night. It could be TJ McConnell coming at you, or Andrew Nembhard. There's a Pascal Siakam. And that's what I think makes a team really dangerous to game plan for in the playoffs, is you just never really know who's going to be that role player to step up. So I could see Indiana making some noise and making life very uncomfortable for the teams that have been sitting at the top of the East pretty much all season. That's number one. And then number two for me in the West is a very similar situation. A team that started the season with turmoil. They add Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't clicking. Julius Randle wasn't playing well at all. And everybody was kind of killing the Timberwolves for trading Karl Anthony Towns to begin with. And then Julius Randle gets injured. And now that he's back, things are starting to look much better. They have the second best net rating in their last 15 games, only behind OKC. They're starting to get healthy again. They're 10-5 at the right time in the last 15 games. And then you always want to be scared of a guy who can take over like Anthony Edwards. You got another kid in Rob Dillingham who I think should probably be playing more minutes than Mike Conley. And those are two guys that can really fill it up. Pause. So I like Minnesota and I like Indiana as two teams that are not getting nearly enough love, and I think could actually make life pretty uncomfortable for the true contenders.
I like your East Coast choice, but on the West Coast, I'm gonna go with the Clippers. The Clippers, and the reason why I say the Clippers is because it's like they haven't got no love all year. No matter how well they played, no matter how many games they won, no matter how much James Harden looked like the old James Harden, Kawhi coming back, Kawhi getting 30 in the last couple of games. This team is really dangerous at the 8th seed. At the 8th seed, I don't think there's people that really want to see them that early. And if they bump up to 7, then they're really going to be they're going to be even more dangerous. And I think they got everything you need to upset a Western Conference team in the first round. And that's why I have them as my my sleeper team, or my most underrated team, because they don't have any player that's not performing at any position. Pause. So it becomes kind of crazy when you think, if you see them in a matchup, only team I could see really like dismantling them in the first round would be Denver. But if they don't run into Denver, can they beat a Lakers team? That would be interesting to see LeBron against Kawhi and James against Luka. That's a real exciting matchup.
Okay.
What do you think about that? Who you got?
No, I love the Clippers. That was another team you can't really like use every bullet, but that was an honorable mention for me. Mm-hmm. You're right. The Clippers haven't been really discussed at all. They start off hot, then they have a lull. Norm Powell was doing the whole like we're adding with subtracting now that Paul George isn't here anymore. He was playing phenomenal basketball. They make some trades. No one's really talking about how Bogdanovich has been playing. And he's, I think, an X factor for the Clippers, a guy who has a little wiggle to his game. He can get to the rim, he can defend, and he can also shoot the three really well. So you're adding that to Norm Powell, who's a 40% catch and shoot three guy. James Harden, like you said, we haven't seen this version of James Harden ever, because he was either MVP, highest usage rate in the league, or he seemed to be wanting to eat his way out of Houston and out of Brooklyn. And so he's engaged. He's fully bought in.
And Philly.
He's
And
playing big
Philly.
roles.
And
Philly. And Philly. I forgot about that short, brief stint. So, yeah, I think this is the best James Harden that we've seen, because it's like he still has the skills to take over at times, but he's much more of a team player because he's getting to the point in his career where he's focusing on a championship. Kawhi Leonard, if he's healthy, and he's been playing really well, if Kawhi Leonard stays healthy through the playoffs, and we haven't seen that since Toronto in 2019, and they've got role players, like I said, who can step up and kind of be that whack-a-mole where you never really know who's going to perform well. I like the Clippers. It depends on the matchup, but I think that they can they're a problem. They're a definite problem.
Yeah, and I definitely brought up that guy's name, because he played with Atlanta Hawks, right? How do you say his name again?
Bogdanovich.
You brought him up the other day.
Yeah, I did bring him up the other day. So just for clarity's sake, we're not going against your take or anything. We just want to let you know when you're leaving out expert comments.
I said quote me.
No, but this team, to your defense, becomes a very dangerous team, even when you go to a small ball lineup. When you go to a small ball lineup, this becomes a nightmare for people, because you got two shooters on the outside, and if they play like a East West Coast like offense, it becomes really dangerous, because you guys spot up shooters and you got two players that are guaranteed to be slashers. It's almost like you got two Jimmy Butlers and two terrible shooters at both corners. So this is a real nightmare for a team if they figure out how to cohesively work when they go to small ball.
Okay, so it's March. So, guys, we got to talk about this March madness.
Where's Maurice at? Is Maurice coming today?
People just don't appear sometimes when their team gets a loss, and that's fine.
I ain't getting no text from Maurice. Maurice, if you're out there, there's an APB out. They said that you ran away from Titletown, and just so happened they called me about it.
I don't think he ran.
He ran.
He's very consistent.
Oh, okay.
I'm sticking up for Maurice today.
Maurice, my guy too. I'm just saying what the people are saying. I'm not saying this about you, Maurice, but people are in my comments. People are in my DMs telling me about, did you see Maurice yet? I said, I spoke to him a few days ago. They said, did he tell you what happened? What happened? They said, you ain't here. I said, hear what? Maybe that's what you're talking about, Stat.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. But again, Maurice is consistent. We'll make that very clear.
Did you speak to him today?
We know where he stands. I have not spoke to Maurice.
Did you speak to him yesterday?
No. But we will. We will. Because we're going to have to get his point of view too.
Maurice, if you're out there, we're looking for you. We're looking for you in Titletown. Titletown is looking for you.
Yeah.
Hit us up. You know the number to Titletown.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless you lost your way.
He's not lost. Even so, he's going to remain consistent. Maurice, I got you. We know where he stands. Okay, so Florida.
See what happened when he tried to go with Killa? He tried to go with Killa against me. I'm telling you, the Titletown guards don't like this. They don't like this. Wait till Cam come back tomorrow.
Oh, Lord. Much love. So Florida advances to the Sweet 16 after beating Uconn 77-75. So after the game, Dan Hurley was caught walking off the court saying, I hope they don't F you like they F'd us, Baylor. I really hope they don't. He was clearly very, 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 very frustrated. So, Trysta, what was your thoughts on Dan Hurley's comments and then Florida advancing?
They did get fucked over. They did. I watched every bit of that game, and they had the perfect game plan. And let's not act like UConn was well thought of before the tournament. They were an 8 seed. Nobody thought, oh, this is a three-peat caliber squad. I knew that this team had real holes in their shooting. They haven't shot well pretty much in the tournament the last 2 years that they ran through them boys, pause. But we really were a little bit worried considering that they didn't have the centers like Donovan Clingan that they had last season as well. So it was already a shaky matchup. Florida was a 1 seed. They were a 9-point favorite. And for UConn to be up pretty much most of the game, they were up with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. There were a couple of questionable calls, very ticky-tack fouls that were called against UConn. The refs were definitely having a soft whistle. So that was one thing. But that kid, Walter Clayton Jr., I don't know if you guys saw him. He had 3 threes in the last, less than 3 minutes, and they were not wide open spot up threes. They were whap, sidestep 3, in movement 3, having to create that separation for himself.
That's that Florida water. That's that Florida water. Pause. Stat, I can't make this up. I wanted UConn to do well, but I can't go against the crib. Can't go against the crib.
You're back with your Florida roots, huh?
I can't go against the crib. What y'all want me to do, Killa? What y'all want me to do? The crib came through. Pause. What I'm supposed to do? You know, you ever seen somebody get in a fight and they're your friends, but they're fighting family now, nigga? You're fighting family.
Yeah, you can't go against the family.
You can't go against family.
I'm gonna remember this.
I know you.
I'm gonna remember this.
I know you.
Sometime in the future.
You're cool. But this family.
That's valid.
You feel what I'm saying? They ran against their crib. What did you expect it to do? The good old boys. You talking about the cause? The cause got to go in the way of the good old boys. This is a Florida thing. Stat, you can come home now. It's good. You can come home now. Maurice, you can come home now. It's an SEC thing, you know?
Okay. Trysta, what was your point?
Would this have even made the rundown if Florida didn't win this game? If UConn won this game, like we thought was going to happen with 3 minutes left, this doesn't even make the rundown. Florida's not even in Mase's family. He's like, oh, that's my distant second, third cousin on my mama's baby sister's side. No chance. No way.
Stat.
It's just convenient.
I mean, Stat. Have I been in Florida the whole time, Stat? Do I say this is the Florida blue that I'm wearing in my glasses? When you're yelling Miami, am I not a Gator?
The correct answer, I should say, is yes.
Okay, I'm glad you
sometimes
you coming home. You coming home.
I've been home.
We letting you come
home.
No, you're not. Because some days you say you're from what? Tampa.
Yes.
You're from Jacksonville, Stat.
Born.
Okay, me too.
True.
So I can't go against the crib. That's all I'm telling you. I can't go against the crib. I can't act like I'm a Seminole. I'm not a Seminole. I'm a Gator. Big Gator.
Yeah, but you can claim New York and Jacksonville and Kansas City and Oregon.
No, Stat.
So I can claim
Stat,
different
I know
parts
people.
of Florida.
I wear Nikes. It's free Nikes in Oregon. If I have to explain it to you, we don't have enough time for me to explain all this, Nick.
I think we got a little bit of minutes.
You can buy Air Nikes. You can buy Air Nikes in the University of Oregon for about $1, you know. It's reasons for the season, you know. But Kansas City is just title town. You know, you start winning a couple championships. UConn became title town. Mo was supposed to bring me up there. He didn't bring me up there, so I removed my blessing. That's what happened.
So you're the reason.
You can't win unless you come through the title town guard, I'm telling you.
So you're the reason.
Yeah. Now remember, I told what's his name, Kelsey, to come on do the interview or whatever.
Okay.
And he couldn't make it.
Okay.
So I removed it.
So that was the reason.
Yeah, I removed it. I'm letting it out now. I removed it. If I remove my blessing, it don't happen. See, Tatum says something. I'm not sure if I want to remove my blessing just yet. If I remove it, they ain't gonna win.
Noted.
What did Tatum say?
Noted. Tatum said all good things about Mase. I always tell him this, but he said he's not officially Titletown yet, but he's on the way there.
I give them
But
my
you gave him his
blessing.
credit, though.
I give him my blessing because of Jaylen Brown. So my blessing is on Boston right now. If I remove it, they'll lose. So y'all got to come talk to me around playoff time.
Okay.
But, you know, UConn, this is simple. You just came against the family. I had to remove the blessing.
That's all. Okay. Shout out to Florida. And then Trysta, last March Madness game we're going to talk about. So Duke beat Baylor 89-66. This was questionable for a lot of people. Are you surprised Duke won, Trysta?
No, they've got a lot of guys on that team that can do everything. It's not just Cooper Flagg. There's Kahn on there. There's the kid from Australia, Tyrese Proctor. I think he had like a bajillion threes yesterday as well. Duke is tough. Like I think Mase better get his ticket to Cameron Indoor down to North Carolina, because Titletown feels like it's coming through Duke. I'm not gonna lie to you. It feels like they're dominant. It feels like they're gonna do what UConn did 2 years ago and last year and just be a buzzsaw no matter who is in their way. They're gonna make light work at Arizona, who makes multiple mistakes, and their pathway, I think, is very favorable too. Baylor really just had VJ Edgecombe and not a lot else. Their firepower is not really impressive, and that's why they were seeded what they were seeded. So they made it a close fight, but at the end of the day, they just didn't have the depth to compete with Duke. And I don't think really maybe anyone has the depth to compete with Duke on that level.
Yeah, I think this is a foregone conclusion that Duke is the supreme power in college basketball. When it comes to the men's, I can't think of one team that we would just say they'll spank Duke. Pause. You know, I can't think of nobody. So Duke is gonna win as much as they want to win. If Cooper Flagg is playing, if you got the wing players playing the way they played last game, it's just nobody that could beat Duke right now. And it's sad to say that, because it's like you're watching a tournament for nothing. You're watching people to see who makes it to get beat by Duke. That's what it looks like to me. I know we got big names like Kentucky. You got Alabama just played a really good game. But when it comes down to it, I don't think. Matter of fact, Alabama might be. Let me take that back. Alabama is the only team I think could really beat Duke.
Okay.
But that's that SEC again, you know. Back to the crib.
Just matters more.
Back to the crib. You see what I'm saying? It get real like that. Back to the crib.
Okay. And then the last question before we wrap. So amidst all of these games,
Wait.
just one.
Trysta, do you think that Alabama could beat Duke? I want you on the record, because I see Stat making all these weird motions. Do you think Duke can beat Alabama? The way Alabama played last, I don't want to put nothing on it. Do you think Alabama could beat Duke?
I do not. No, I think
No
Alabama
chance?
defense. I mean, I think you saw what Alabama did last year, right? Like they probably should not and did not have enough to go to the Final Four, but they got hot at the right time. And when Alabama starts making threes, when you've got multiple dudes down the stretch like Mark Sears having 17 points in the second half in their first tournament game, if you get hot, anything is possible. But Alabama's defense is super suspect, and you can put up 90 against them pretty easily. They're a tissue. And you saw what Florida did to Alabama in the SEC title game, where it just means more. So, no, I don't think Alabama is the team that I would choose to compete the most with Duke. I would say it's probably a team like Florida, who has some bucket getters and guys on the perimeter who can shoot really well and defensively are really good. Like Florida's a top 5 defense. So I think you have to be balanced at both of those facets to keep up with Duke, because that's what they do so well. But again, if you shoot 80% from three, then sure. But outside of something stunning like that, no, I don't think it's Alabama that would be able to compete with them at all.
Okay, just remember I told you, Alabama has figured something out. That new lineup with the two bigs, when they go to that unit and they got Holloway in there, their guards are really tough. They got two small guards that are really tough on Alabama. I'll take my chances with Alabama with what's his name, Holloway, and it was another guard that was getting crazy out there. I think his name is Sears. Yeah, he was playing like he was from my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with that, like you always say, time will tell. So
Time will tell.
We'll see. So last thing before we wrap. So with all these games, there's one particular person who has been going stupid viral. So I got to ask you guys' opinion on Amir Kahn. So he was McNeese State's men's basketball manager. When their season came to an end after losing to Purdue, he's still been up and going. It's apparent that he signed up to 6 figures in NIL deals with brands such as Buffalo Wild Wings, Insomnia Cookies, Fortnite, and more. So Trysta, have you heard of this Mr. Ara? What did you think of the whole, viral moment that he had and how much he's basically been able to profit off of literally just being the team manager?
Yeah, that part is kind of crazy to me because he's kind of like a mascot, right? He kind of became McNeese's, like, we'll elevate him, this kind of not, like, the aura almost feels kind of like shade, you know what I mean? Like, if you see him, that's just my perspective. I don't see aura, but I don't know the man, right?
Fair.
And he became famous because he was lip syncing rap videos, which I think is like, I don't know if that's something for you to become like the aura for. Outside of him, the larger point is there's just a lot of money going around from these brands during these moments that last like 2-3 weeks. And he's getting over 6 figures for a 3-week deal, and he should get every penny that he can. And now he's going to go over there with Will Wade to NC State as a graduate student. And when they go to the tournament next year, he's going to get that check as well. And every other month of the year, we're not going to even think about Amir Kahn. And that's no shade to him, but that's just kind of like where we are in the NIL era right now, which is like you profit when you're hot. And like that little flash in the pan moment, you should just really get as much as you can, because that I don't think you're going to be able to use that and make that something that's like a real career or some sustaining income. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's the beginning of something great, actually. In the society we're in today, I've seen people have longer runs with less. So in this type of situation, I'm gonna have to disagree. Aura, hit us up. We want to be in a commercial. I'm not with Trysta. Trysta is hating on you. I'm not. Nah, let me stop, But that would be cool. Put that in the commercial. She like, she like what she likes,
Mo should be in a commercial with Dan Hurley. I think that just shows, like, if you're on the periphery of a hot team and in the culture, then like these brands should reach out to you and you should, enjoy that moment.
Facts.
Yeah, and all NIL deals, we're taking them even though we're not in college. Stat, you still in college? Can you get an NIL?
No.
I'm a 5th-year senior. Put the camera on me. I'm a 5th-year senior. I got more eligibility, so send me all the NIL deals.
I think you have all the eligibility. I think you have 4 years of eligibility.
No. Actually, Trysta, you don't know everything about me. I play college basketball. Let me stop.
Yo. It doesn't gotta be an NIL deal. We can just be talking deals. We can put deals on the table.
No, I need an NIL deal, and Rich Paul is my agent. So if y'all looking for me, I signed with Clutch Sports. I forgot to tell y'all.
For what sport?
for balling.
Oh. General balling.
So hit up my agent.
That's the way to go. If anybody's the right agent, it is Rich Paul.
Yeah.
Y'all, that is all the time that we have for today. Trysta, it was a pleasure to have you. Thanks for coming on.
She said, which sport? I said balling. That was a good one.
4 years of eligibility left.
I got 4 years of eligibility left. I played 1 year. I played with Don Cannon from Affiliate Records, you know? I'm in Generation Now.
Then you should get your NIL money. You should go like J.R. Smith and go back to school.
Yes,
and
Dion holla at me. Dion holla at me. Who else? Rich
Seton
Paul.
Hall,
Speak to Rich Paul.
Jones.
If you can't get Rich Paul, call Rich Clement. I got a few agents now.
Any Rich.
Any Rich. But I'm with the guy's named Rich, with the Richard on. Shador.
Okay.
Shador. Let's go.
Thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.